What's good? What's good? What's good? This be the G Shah Cypha. You officially tuned in to Underground Movers podcast where we support anybody that's grinding and don't really got to be an artist. It could just be anybody that's grinding in any shape, any way, shape, or form, regardless of the way they doing it. As long as it's positive, as long as you keep it solid, as long as you do people right, we want to hear about it. We want to talk about it. We got somebody that we're gonna be talking to that's really doing some dope things. Been doing some dope things, some great things for a very long time. You know what I mean? And this person's not an artist because you know you used to be hearing artists and really giving them the platform. This time we're gonna show some light to the people that help the artists behind the scenes and really put in that work that you don't really see on a daily basis. You know, so you already know what it is. Let's get it. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right.
Hey.
Listen, I need y'all to really understand what's going on right now. I got somebody with me that's been on the grind for a very long time, that's got multiple hats in the business, and I'm not just talking about entertainment, just pretty much in any type of business dealing with making sure that people are taken care of correctly from a PR perspective, but as well as she's got a great love for hip hop and as a DJ. But we're gonna talk about all that. You know what I mean? So shout out to Nickie Robinson. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Listen, I appreciate you taking the time out because you a busy woman. You a busy woman. You got a lot of things going on, and I want to make sure that people know what's going on. But I want to start from the beginning. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know, if anyone knows you, really knows you, and understands, you know, where this all started, you came from underground hip hop, really loving that underground hip hop scene, just hip hop period. So talk about that beginning for you.
Wow. So LA, I think my first exposure to hip hop was probably Dougie Fresh, Slick
Right.
Rick, the show. But from there, I just kind of developed the love for hip hop and always loving just, starting off in the 90s artists
Right.
and being in tune to what was coming out, who was hot, buying things that they didn't necessarily play on the radio, this music that I loved, and it's just evolved over the years. I've stayed pretty consistent with what I support.
That's dope. And you know, they see your name Nickie Robinson, but they don't know that you DJ Nikki. They don't know that you
Yeah.
a DJ. So talk about how, you know, what how did you become a DJ, you know, before Good Girl PR, because a lot of people know that. But let's talk about the DJ aspect of, you know, of your life.
Right. So while I was in law school, I actually asked my grandfather to buy me a pair of turntables. He bought me some Stanton's belt-driven turntables, but I didn't really like them. So I
Mhm.
think I returned them, and then I just started doing a lot of party promoting. And then when I came back to New York, a friend of mine gave me a pair of 1200s,
Oh,
Technique 1200s. So that's kind of how I started DJing more consistently and practicing, learning how to, mix and blend from using two of the same records and then evolving to, mixing records together.
right,
So, yeah, so that's how I started DJing. And that started back in 2000, I guess, four.
right.
But I really started in 2006. And yeah, now I'm still spinning.
Listen, you're a female in the business, you know, and right now, today, if anybody's not really been paying attention, females been running the game for a very long time. Right now, um, the emphasis on female running the game is really, you're really seeing it right now. But back then, as a DJ, you know, in the business, you know, talk about, you know, how it was for you being a female in the game in the 90s and then moving into the 2000s. Man, you said 2000s. I was 26 at that time, so I'm dating myself. But yeah, I was 26 at that time, and you know, I didn't see too many ladies doing too many things from a DJ aspect. I knew there were, you know what I mean? But talk to me about like that environment for you. What was that like being a female in the business at that
Yeah,
time?
that's a good point. So I went to NYU. You've heard NYU radio probably broke Wu-Tang Clan.
Right,
My friends ran NYU radio, and that's something that I always wanted to do, but I was a girl. you
Right.
know?
Right. Right.
So men were always in the station, but girls weren't really in the station.
Right.
And I always felt like there was something missing. I wanted to be in the station, I wanted to be a part of it, but it was very male centered. I remember in college, one of my friends signed Capone and Noriega to Penalty Records, and he
Oh,
played the album for me. So I've been in hip hop for a long time. I used to go to the Tunnel and
the
Rebar and
tunnel.
listen to
Yes.
Stretch and Bobbito
Right.
and Shred. You know, I've been in the industry for a while, more so as a voyeur and a consumer, but then more so as a participant post 2004.
Right.
So yeah, so I've evolved. Funny thing is, my first big DJ event was Hip Hop Honors, and I was the DJ on the bill. And I realized that I ended up doing more PR than DJing. So it's kind of how Good Girl PR birthed. It was purely an accident.
Right.
But if you think about it, DJs are publicists because they're on the mic, they're announcing things, they're uh, shouting people out, they're throwing events, right?
Right.
So DJing is a form of PR if you think about it.
Right. You're right. Cause they communicate with people, not just artists, they communicate with all kinds of businesses. They help build brands, whether it be through the music or, at physical events at that particular location. Music is needed across any aspect of whatever you're doing, right? There's music everywhere, regardless of what type of music it is. So DJs have a very important part in any type of success, regardless of where it is, especially for artists. Back in the day, when you saw an artist, you saw a DJ, right? Like you had your own individual DJ. Nowadays, I don't know if you really see that, but when you are on tour, things like that, you gotta have that DJ that knows your sound, knows the records and things like that. If you don't have a band, but at one point when you was DJing, you were DJing at Fat Beats. Now talk
Yeah.
about that.
Well, I mean, I knew DJ Eclipse from NYU Radio,
Mhm.
and um, I simply asked him if I could DJ at Fat Beats. And if anyone knows about Fat Beats, it's pretty much the premier underground hip hop radio record store in New York City that's
Right.
also online. So I started DJing there, just kind of my idea was to practice and to network. And then all of a sudden, everybody wanted to start DJing at Fat Beats, which is hilarious.
Right, right,
I
right.
started a trend there, but yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, listen, sometimes, somebody got to start it in order for people to see, okay, you know what, we might want to do that too. So,
Right.
shout out to the trendsetters out there that's really, making a difference and really showing people other opportunities, other things they can do. You did something real wonderful as a DJ. And there's probably a lot of things that I don't know about, but one of the things you've done is you went on tour with Ghostface Killer, Wu-Tang Clan. Shout out
Wait,
Tony
how did you
Stark.
know about that?
Tony Stark, so
Wait, how did you know about that?
you told me about it.
Oh, snap.
You said, listen, I went on tour with Tony Stark's Wu-Tang
Yeah, I
Clan.
opened up 2 shows for him, in Boston and in Maine.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I know, I was terrified.
Why? I mean, well, being a DJ, you want to make sure you get it right. So, but what was the most exciting thing about doing it, and then what was so terrifying about it?
I think because Ghostface is one of my favorite rappers, so it was just, like, the fact that, I had wanted to DJ for so long, and then this is back in 2009, 10 that this happened,
Right,
but going on tour with somebody who you admire, it's like it was kind of like a bucket list type thing.
right, right, right,
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Definitely. Okay. So we fast forwarding. We moving into the good girl PR. You said it started really by accident, right? So I like how things just form out of out of just being natural. Like you're not forcing it. You're not saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do this," and then you're trying to figure it out. It's just you're building it as you go. So talk about good girl PR. Some of the things that you've done as a PR, and then how is that tied into the who you are today, some of the how building relationships is so important in the business that you're in currently.
That's a great question. I mean, I've been doing this for 13 years, so I can't remember everybody that I've worked with.
Right, right,
But I think the most important part about it is that we're still here and we're still getting business,
right.
and we're showing people that we get the job done. As you know, I pitch small artists to you, independent artists.
Mhm.
I don't discriminate. It's not all about celebrity, right?
Right,
We
right,
help
right,
everyone, and if we can't help you, we let you know.
right, right.
So I'm just proud to still be here, and still be doing what is in essence my personality.
Right, right. But you know what? Personality and delivery and presentation, things like that are important when you pitching a artist, or even just trying to talk to somebody and have a conversation about whatever it is having to do with your brand. That's important. Some of the things that I see you post is, gratitude, about being nice, and about treating people right and things like that. You put a lot of positive stuff, on your Instagram. So, why is that important to you to put things like that on there? When you could just really be all about business. Why is the motivation something like that you put up on a constant basis?
That's a good point. I think it's because I know that whatever you give out, you attract back, and that's important to me. And my mother says I care about what people think, and it's not necessarily that. It's just that I know a lot of people who follow me are not nice
Right.
and are not grateful. So I post a lot of that stuff. So maybe they can one day catch a vibe and get it.
Right. But you know what? I bet you there's a lot of people out there watching. And shout out to the people that's tuning in now. But I think there's a lot of people watching, may not hit the like button, may not, comment on the post, but needed to see the stuff that you post, because maybe that changed their day for that day. They made it a
Right.
positive day, right? So it's important. I know I've seen stuff like that. I'm like, man, I needed to hear that, and I didn't even know I needed it until I saw it. So
Oh
that's
wow, thank you.
it's just one of those things where you and I got a family, and they always, my kids, my wife, they always push me, to do better and encourage me. But sometimes, you you look at him like, yeah, you know what? You're right. You know what I mean? You might say something that I haven't heard before and things like that. So that's dope. Um,
I had no idea. Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. All good, all good. Um, let's really fast forward. METHOD man. Method Man, one of the reasons why I started, as an artist, I became Shah Cypha from an artist perspective because of the Tikal album. That was actually the first album that my mother purchased for me. I've heard of Run DMC, I've heard of KRS-One, I had Slick Rick. These were all artists, LL Cool J, all the artists that I just named and more were, for me, were the ones that I heard on radio, that I had to literally take a cassette tape and wait for it to come on the radio and press play to record. But Tikal was the first album that I physically got, from when it dropped. Um, my mom purchased for me. And every song that I wrote after, when I started to rhyme sounded like Method Man. So that's why it was important that, let you know when I saw what you was doing with Meth, and we get ready to talk about that in a minute. I was like, man, that's kind of the consistency between our conversation. Like, man, Method Man's my favorite rapper. There's somebody working with Method Man. Like, talk about that. Talk about how that happened. We got the metaverse. We got a lot of things going on with NFTs, metaverse, things like that. So, how did that come about, and how excited are you for that venture?
Again, I think I manifested it. Someone from his team reached out to help with Metaverse.
Right,
Uh, Due to the fact that I post, like you said, positivity, and I post a lot of hip hop stuff in support of their brand,
right.
and they thought I would be an ideal person to help with the Metaverse project. So I'm not Method Man's publicist, like, he does acting and
Right, right, right.
music stuff, but I've been brought on to help with Metaverse,
Okay.
and we started on Tuesday, and now it's Friday, and I think I've killed it.
Oh yeah, you definitely. I've been clicking the links and going, and like I said, I'm a big Method Man fan, so I watch Power. I got all the albums, I've watched a lot of the movies that he's in. I really paid attention to. I got the Wu-Tang albums. If he on it, I'm on it. I got every single Wu album, Wu member album that has him on it. Every time him and Redman do something, I'm on it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm a big fan of Method Man, and again, the reason why I do music. And then, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, so Biggie's my next big one. That is another reason why I started to rap. But from a Method Man perspective, when I saw that, I was like, yo, I already knew you was doing something, but I already knew you manifested it for real when I saw Metaverse. So I can't wait to have the opportunity to take any content that you send our way, to be able to share that and feel like, okay, I was a part of it, even if it's just a
Oh,
little
I
bit.
love
You
it.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I'll spend the
So,
weekend writing those things up for you. But
yeah.
I admit I was a little bit nervous about writing the press release. Uh, Normally, I delegate my press releases to my PR friend and coworker in London, but this one in particular, I thought I should write myself.
Right, right, right,
I was a little bit rusty because I've been delegating a lot of things to Amy lately, but
right,
I wrote it and they said it was fantastic, and that just meant the world to me that he knows and his team knows that I'm an excellent writer and communicator. They
right,
approved
right.
it. I disseminated it, and we got Forbes today, rolling
Oh,
out EUR Web, Afrotech. Uh,
yeah.
I got some hip hop sites in the UK. Hip Hop DX comes out tomorrow.
Look
Uh,
at that. Yeah.
I think he should be impressed.
He's definitely going to be impressed. He's coming to the ground report. I'm just letting y'all know right now. He's coming to the ground report. We're gonna put him on the ground report. We got a couple other platforms that we gonna make sure it happens on. You know what I mean? We not only support, the independents and the unsigns, and that's generally where we focus on. But for our mainstream and for our legends, especially in hip hop, people who set the bar, who made sure that they left some of these doors open, and let us know that we can do this too. We want to make sure that we pay that homage, and that's what we gonna do. You know what I mean? So listen, you got a lot of things going on. So is there anything else you got going on that may be coming up that you could talk about, that you want to
Yeah,
let
I
the people
started
know?
working with Damian Douglas. He's with the For Us By Us network. He also works with um, Hidden Hills Empire group. They do a series of films. Um, I have Inequality, which is like a board game that kind of illustrates systemic racism. I've been working with Ellie Joseph. He came out with a book called The Perfect Rejection Resume. Uh, I've been working with Mirror Digital, which is one of the premier digital media companies
Right.
in the country. You should probably hook up with them to see if you can get some of their advertising dollars and be a contributor. Since you produce so much content, I'll introduce you to see if that works out. Um, I'm helping my old neighbor build a business, helping somebody build a hair care company. I mean, it can go on and on and on.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
manage artists too. Shout out to the homie Queese Esco.
Oh, yes. I'm actually not his manager. I'm his publicist. He has a manager, but I've tried to manage artists. I just don't think they appreciate all that people do. So I'm over that. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, well,
I
you know
tried it for
what?
2 weeks, you guys, in February. I'm done. I'm good.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I think you had the wrong artist. If you was managing, I'm put it out there. If you was managing me, I'll do whatever you tell me to do whenever you need me to do it, because you gotta listen. But I'm gonna just be completely honest with you. A lot of the artists out here right now are and no disrespect to y'all, because from an artist standpoint, you don't really know no better, right? You just don't know the information that you need to know. You want to move fast, you forget the process, you don't understand the process, and sometimes you got to listen to the people that really knows what they're doing. But at the same time, you want to make sure you, the person you're dealing with, is not scamming you. So I get it, right? I get it. But when you got somebody that's really there for you, believes in you, and really putting their best foot forward, you gotta let the chips lie where they lay. You got to let the board, let the everything play out the way it needs to, because at the end of the day, you believe in yourself, they believe in you. You can take that to a whole different level. It's just not going to happen in 24 hours. So, you know, I'm happy that you're still working with artists. Sad that you no longer managing. I am gonna be honest with you, but I understand. But from a artist PR standpoint, like what are some of the biggest lessons or biggest peeves that you might have when it comes to working with artists, or or the biggest things that you feel like you want to see artists do better in as you work with them in the future.
Yeah, I think I don't really have any peas right now because I've learned to manage expectations. So whenever our artist signs with me, I tell them this is what I can do for you per month. I try to manage expectations as far as deliverables are concerned.
Right,
And as long as you do that, you don't really have any problems with them. I think the main thing for artists to understand is that PR does not sell records.
right,
It really just helps with exposure, right? And getting your name out there and helping open up doors and create opportunities for you. What sells records, in my opinion, is radio and performing, right?
right,
And
right,
marketing dollars, which if you think about it, a label will invest millions of dollars into uh, marketing an artist to make multi-million dollars.
right,
So
right.
you can't pay a publicist a nominal fee per month and expect for me to sell millions of records. This is not happening.
Yeah, it's definitely not. We tell artists, from our perspective, the things that we do is only to get you exposure. If you're looking for, us to increase your spins or increase your streams and things like that, or that's possible with the placements that we do for you. But we're not going to guarantee it. What we're going to guarantee is that we place you where we say we're going to place you. We got receipts for everything that we tell you we're going to do. And and we have a sense of integrity, so you're not waiting forever. So
Yeah, you're very fast when it comes to placements. Not everybody is as fast as you, but you are very fast.
that's the thing. We with us, I've been in situations from an artist where I got wait 3, 4, 5 weeks for something that I don't think I should have taken that long, but with communication, things would have been a little bit better. But when you kind of like, okay, I spent this money, thank you, and then you don't hear nothing from them, that's when you have a problem, right? Like,
Right,
so with us, it's like, okay, we'll give you 5 to 7 business days. Our goal is this. Um, we under promise and we over deliver,
right.
pretty much the way we go about it. And one thing you said, is you manage expectations. I never thought about it like that. So I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna steal that, I'm gonna work with that. We'll be honest. One question like we always like to ask, because we are the ground report, although this is underground movers, underground through the ground report, we like to ask, what do you feel like your definition of grind is?
My grind is no excuses and just consistency. Like, perfect example, I had hired a handyman to come put together some furniture. And one day he canceled because he had the sniffles. And I can't think of how many times I've called out in the past 13 years due
Right,
to sniffles or anything. Like,
right, right,
I I work regardless of whether I'm sick or tired. Um,
right.
so it's like just no excuses and just being consistent.
I feel you. I think I have a problem with that too. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I have a problem with that too, because they say I'm always working, right? I'm always working. I'm always doing this. I'm always doing that. And yeah, I have family. I have kids. I understand that, and I try to spend time with them because time you can't get back. At the end of the day, it's like if I'm not producing for my family or for whatever reason that I feel like it's necessary to do the job, then I'm too lazy. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta make sure that we survive, we focus, and the people got my back, consistently have my back. So because of that, I gotta keep the grind going, gotta keep going. I don't think there's a lot of people out there that really got that grind like when we was coming up, got that sense of urgency. So that's important. What can you say, or what advice would you give to anybody looking to expand in a brand, to build a brand, whether it be an artist, whether it be a clothing designer, whether it be someone trying to become a PR? Like, what advice would you give them before they get started?
Uh, I kind of launched businesses without any like complicated plans, but I would just say always have a good name, something that's sticks with people before you launch it, um, something that's catchy and
Right,
resonates with people. Uh, that's your brand, right? So
right,
name
right,
is very important, and of course, branding. So your logo, just like here, you have Underground Movers podcast, Ground
right,
Report.
right.
I know that logo. If I saw it, I would know it was you. I would associate it with you. So
Right.
it's just important to just really brainstorm your brand likeness and name before you get started.
Right. I second that. You know, for me, everything that we put out has a specific name that you can remember. Everything that, you know, every brand or anything that we put out has a logo to it. Shah Cypha has his own logo. Underground Movers has his own logo. The Ground Report, Track Bullies, you know. I saw the Good Girl PR logo. I like that, you know. So
That was an accident. A friend of mine, Chris Rodriguez, I don't know if you know him, but he created it before the VH1 Hip Hop Honors Party that I did back in 2008
really, okay.
using probably Microsoft Word.
You know what? That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, I came up with the ground. We came up with the Ground Report logo with, you know, with some icons of myself. So I understand. You know, sometimes you know regular fonts might it can be your logo, like what you see in the back. You know, that's just regular font. It's not really anything special, but people like this, so we did it that route.
Yeah, I
Any
love
shout outs or anything? You know, matter of fact, we know, tell them where we can find you. I know it's at Good Girl PR on Instagram, but Twitter, is that the same? And
Yeah,
Facebook, is that
everything
the same?
again, when you start a business, you wanna come up with a name that's catchy and that people remember, and you want your name to be the same across all your social media channels. So it's at Good Girl PR across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm not really on TikTok like that.
Yeah, yeah.
LinkedIn. Yeah, across
Okay,
the board.
cool. Any shout outs that you want to give? Because I know you got stuff to do, got deadlines to meet, all that good stuff.
Thank you. Um, I wanna give a shout out to Amy Peak. She's my, coworker. She helps me with pitching clients. She's been working with me for over 3 years. Amy Peak. She's located in the UK. I wanna give a shout out to you for being so cool and consistent and so quick with placements. I really appreciate you. And, of course, I wanna shout out my daughter, Carter, who I love.
Definitely.
I'm gonna spend a little bit of time with her before I start working again. I have a deliverable tonight, unfortunately,
It's
that I
all
have to get
good.
done.
You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. You know, shout out to you for your consistency, your grind, all the great things that you're doing, all the great things that are coming. You know, the blessings that are coming and you don't even see yet. I know it's happening. You know, keep doing your thing. We definitely appreciate you. For everybody that just tuned in, we're gonna have this on YouTube. Actually, it's streaming live right now on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, all that good stuff. But after that, you know, we're gonna have that replay for you. It'll be on the official website. Every brand that we have has a website, so we want to make sure it'll be on the official website as well. And you know, shout out everybody supporting us: Shah Cypha, Nickie Robinson, Good Girl PR, the Ground Report, all that good stuff. DJ Nikki, you know. So
Thank you.
um, so yeah, hold on 1 minute. I want to talk to you one second before you get out of here. But shout out to everybody saluting. Holla at your boy. You already know what it is. Shah Cypha. Let's get it.